Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into real-life stories of property owners who faced serious financial hardships because of delayed compensation in eminent domain. Imagine the government takes your property for a public project, but instead of paying you right away, they delay the payment, sometimes for years. Meanwhile, you're stuck paying the mortgage, property taxes, and other costs on a property you no longer control. In this video, we'll look at a few case studies where property owners went through exactly this, and the financial toll it took on them. If you're interested in property rights and want to learn from these real-life examples, let's get started. So, why does delayed compensation cause so much hardship? When compensation is delayed, property owners can find themselves covering costs for a property they no longer own. These expenses can include 1. Mortgage payments. Owners still have to pay their mortgage, which is a heavy financial burden if they're not receiving rental income or can't use the property. 2. Property taxes. Often owners are required to pay taxes on a property they no longer benefit from, adding to their financial stress. 3. Maintenance costs. In some cases, owners are also responsible for maintaining the property's condition, which means ongoing expenses for repairs and upkeep. These costs can lead to significant financial strain, especially if the delay stretches on for years. Our first case study is Kirby Forest Industries v. United States, a Supreme Court case from 1987. Here's what happened. The U.S. government decided to take land from Kirby Forest Industries to expand a national forest in Texas. But the compensation process took nearly 8 years to complete. During that time, Kirby Forest Industries had to bear all the costs of owning the property without receiving payment. The financial impact was huge. Without compensation, Kirby Forest Industries was left covering property taxes, insurance, and maintenance for nearly a decade, causing them serious financial strain. Eventually, the Supreme Court awarded compensation, including interest to account for the delay, but it didn't fully cover the ongoing costs they had incurred. This case highlights a critical point. Even if you eventually receive interest on delayed compensation, it may not cover everything. The time spent waiting for payment can create real financial hardship. Next, let's look at Miller v. United States, a case from 1943 that shows how compensation delays can impact property owners during extreme times, like World War II. In this case, the government took private land to support the war effort but delayed compensation payments for years. Property owners were forced to cover costs like taxes and mortgage payments on land they no longer had access to or control over. After years of waiting, the Supreme Court eventually ruled that the government had to pay interest on the delayed compensation, which helped somewhat but still didn't cover the full financial impact. For the property owners, the delay created unexpected debt, and even with interest, the final compensation didn't account for the total financial burden they endured. These examples show how vulnerable property owners can be when the government takes their property but delays payment. So what can property owners learn from these cases? If you're dealing with a delayed compensation situation, here are some lessons to keep in mind. First, document all expenses. Keep track of every cost you incur while waiting for compensation. This includes mortgage payments, property taxes, and maintenance. Detailed records can help strengthen your case if you need to argue for additional compensation. Second, request interest on delayed payments. If the process drags on, you can request that the court awards interest on the delayed payment. While it won't cover everything, it can help offset some of the financial burden. Third, consider legal representation. Working with an experienced attorney can help you navigate the complexities of delayed compensation. They can help you negotiate and advocate for fair treatment, potentially reducing the financial impact of the delay. And finally, be prepared for long waits. Unfortunately, compensation delays are common in eminent domain cases. Having a financial plan in place can help you weather the process, especially if the delay stretches out longer than expected. Taking these steps can make a real difference if you're facing a compensation delay and help protect your financial well-being. To sum it up, delayed compensation in eminent domain can create serious financial challenges, especially when owners are left covering costs for years. Cases like Kirby Forest Industries v. United States and Miller v. United States show how costly these delays can be and the importance of interest on delayed payments, even though it often falls short of covering the full financial impact. If you're in a situation like this, remember, document your expenses, request interest on delayed payments, and seek legal representation if needed. Being proactive can make a huge difference. In our next video, we'll be breaking down the concept of just compensation and explaining how it's determined in eminent domain cases. We'll cover what's included in compensation and what isn't, and what property owners can do if they think their compensation isn't fair. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, and